Today is your last chance to earn some Twitch drops. We got other drops incoming that I'm going to talk about here in a minute. Some interesting raid nerfs. Cyrce's Signet getting a bit of changes here, but still not good enough. And what we've learned from Garrisons. Let's get into some of this stuff. Here we go. Talking about Twitch drops, today's your last chance to earn these 2 mounts. If you haven't earned them already, it's a 20-minute, I think, viewership, actually, of a stream streaming WoW. If you just get in there and get it done, you'll get those mounts. They're pretty nice-looking mounts.
Holy shit.
Yeah, the streak is over.
Holy shit.
Yeah, this was a long streak, actually. This was a pretty damn long giveaway, but there it is. If you haven't gotten it already, it ends today. Oh, what is interrupting the news for what? It's another giveaway, the final giveaway of 2024 from your man, the man of the people, Samiccus. I'm giving away $100 in BNet balance. All you have to do is enter my stream, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. Watch 1 hour of this shitty stream, and all these items you've seen on your screen now could be yours with the $100. 1 hour, 1 measly hour is all it'll take, and every hour beyond that is another entry. So get in here and get cracking. Moving on to another giveaway that's going on, or I should say another Twitch drop that's going on. Warcraft Rumble officially live on PC. You can now play it. It's part of your BNet launcher. Getting on it in PC. And if you're watching somebody streaming it from either, 30 minutes to 2 hours, you can get some of these in-game goodies, 500 coins, 1 star tome, 1 rare core, and 1 major XP tome. I don't know what any of this stuff is. I haven't played this yet, but I might get into it just for a little bit at some point. These are the drops that you can get if you are, in fact, watching somebody who is live playing this game. So get in there and watch those people. Here it is. The big things that happened this Tuesday that I wasn't even expecting. Big nerf, Silken Court. If you were stuck on Silken Court Mythic Raid, you might finally get past it. This is your week, boys, because this thing just got nerfed into the ground. No longer will there be 5 swarms going out. There will only be 4 swarms going out on people to be dispelled. In terms of Stinging Swarm, the damage was increased by to 25%. It was 20 in Mythic difficulty, but that's the only increase. We have a decrease in Shattered Shell Scarab melee by 15%. Increased number of stacks of Void Degeneration and Burning Touch that trigger the Touch of Death, so you can take more of those rather than dying at 4. You'll now have to take 5 of them to die. And then being damaged by a Web Bomb no longer creates moats on Mythic difficulty. So these are Mythic difficulty changes. A lot of raiders are currently stuck on that with their guilds, so that'll be a nice way to help them finally get past it. Interesting stuff going on this week with dungeons. If you didn't know, we are in a War Within weekly dungeon event. This is a big event. We can get 610 eye level gear. Multiple pieces of extra gear will be dropping in normal, heroic, and Mythic dungeons, but not Mythic Plus. So if you're in Mythic Plus, it still remains the same. There is an extra quest that you can pick up called the Cache of Nerubian Treasures. You can get that from Archimist Freyerthum. It'll give you bronze tokens because the anniversary event is still going on, and it'll also give you a 610 piece of item gear guaranteed. So not only will you get extra items running the dungeons, you can do this quest, get yourself an extra piece of gear, which is nice. Towards the end, I guess a lot of people are still gearing out alts and stuff, so if you want to go get that, plus the bronze for the celebration stuff. I have to actually check how many I have. I haven't even got my tier set yet. My God, I'm lagging in this game, man. Moving on to the upgrade crest. Here we go. Now uncapped in the War Within for Season 1. There it is, as it should always be. Uncapped. You can now get your crests over and over and over. There is no longer a cap on those. Upgrade all your gear. Transfer them between your alts. Do everything you want to do with those and gear out your, every character to the max. I actually don't know. Are these transferable through warbands? I don't use alts. Look, guys. You guys know, I was on paternity leave, kid, everything. I didn't play a lot when I was during that time I was gone. Now I'm back getting AOTC and everything. I'm getting back in the game, okay? I want to hear shit from chat right now about how I'm a noob. But, yeah, you can get these crests, transfer them, do everything you want with them. They're now uncapped, so go ahead and grind those out as we approach here 11.1. Yeah, thank you, Conicia. How good is Circe Circlet? So we talked a little bit about this. It was recently buffed, right? And this thing is very much a copy of the Onyx Analit, as I like to call it. It was part of that whole, you get a piece of gear. Yeah, it's supposed to be a best in slot for everybody. Add some gems, you created whatever it is. Well, this thing still, even after yesterday's buffs that we talked about, is still a little bit worse than some equal item level rings that currently stack up to 639 item level. So these things need to be changed. They still need to be buffed a little bit more. Will they get buffed? I believe so, but here's a little tier list of the gems that you'll currently be able to add into your Circlet. It's a nice thing here is Wowhead has them separated between DPS tanks and healing. So I'll link that in the chat for you guys. You can actually, you know, deselect and select these to see which ones are best for the class you're going to be running. Everyone's going to have the ring. Eventually, Blizzard will buff it out enough so that way it totally, you know, is best in slot for everybody. That'll be the way it works. No alts. What kind of wowhead are you? I'm a single man. I am Samiccus, and Samiccus is I run one tune constantly. It's how I've always played this game. It's just, you know, it's just my RP-ness. That's how I like to play this game, and that's how I've always played the game. I'm not an altaholic. Moving on to the final piece here. What we've learned from Garrisons and how Blizzard can do housing better. So a brief history on Garrisons here. They were introduced at BlizzCon in 2013, and they were actually supposed to be much bigger than they originally came out as. So they were supposed to be a bit more, not necessarily customizable, but if we look at an original Garrison map, there was actually supposed to be a river that went through them, multiple plots, including more things you could do in them. Of course, these things got drawn back. Not only were they supposed to be bigger, but they were supposed to be, you were supposed to be able to choose which zone in WoD to put them in. So there was supposed to be some player choice in terms of where your garrison was going to be, and that would kind of change the aesthetic of your garrison. Like many things in WoD, all of that got tamed back, got drawn back. They cut off a bunch of stuff, from WoD. That was basically the history of WoD, as everything got cut out of that expansion. So the garrisons we eventually got were very much cookie cutter, not very customizable, and yet they basically created a division in the player base. So the biggest problem with Garrisons was the social impact of Garrisons, of course. With the fact that you had an auction house in there, a black market auction house, you also had your basically your table, right, where you could just constantly send people out on missions and make gold. You also had your little professions hub in there where you could do your professions and make gold. There was no reason for people to go to capital cities anymore or venture outside of their garrisons. So it really did create an isolating feeling in the game. And second, there was no customizability to them. Really, it was just everyone did their best in slot, you know, plot, shit, makeup. People put the certain buildings the way that everybody else did, and that was it. Everyone had their little city hub, and that was essentially the end of garrisons. Now, how do you basically fix this system? How do you make it better? Well, for the way Final Fantasy does it, actually, is kind of different in that I've never played it, but it's a very expensive for you to get into housing. Basically, housing in Final Fantasy is only for the rich of the rich. This image looks really cool, but it's something that only the best people, the biggest the biggest gold grinders in the game can get. There's some RNG involved, I guess, with these that I don't understand, but only a few people can really have houses. There's guild houses too. That's an interesting thing about Final Fantasy. I don't see Blizzard making WoW housing something that's only for the people with the most gold in the game. That would certainly lead to a lot of pitchforks coming out. But I do see something, as they say here, the answer likely lies in the middle, where you can see other players' houses, have neighborhoods, so while still allowing everyone to be interested and participate in this feature. The challenge is how to accomplish it and what compromises will be made to achieve the balanced version. I agree. To me, I think these things need to be in a city. Personally, I think there has to be maybe a spot in every single hub city where there can be player housing. That's how you're going to keep people in the hubs. You're still going to keep people around. And obviously, don't make player housing all-encompassing. Don't put a ton of stuff in it that people can do, like auction houses. Put an auction house and a bank in it, and basically that's it. Don't allow people to just, mine professions in these things, do that kind of stuff. They need to be able... You have to force WoW players to touch virtual grass, because they're not going to touch the real deal. So at least get them to touch the fake shit. Beyond that, player housing needs to be much more customizable. Obviously, Garrisons, there was no customizability to them, and what people want out of player housing is really the ability to customize as much as they can. Let the poor live in the Dalaran sewers. Oh, God. Yeah, well... I think, wherever you choose to live, and I think it should be left to your choice. It shouldn't be something you're locked in. If you're an orc, you got to live in Orgrimmar or something. Wherever you choose to live should be based on the aesthetic of the zone, and that's about it. You pick which aesthetic you like. Your house plots in the city over there.
There was actually a space in Stormwind for a housing portal.
Interesting. Yeah, so Blizzard's thought about this stuff before. Just go look at Gilneas right now and its current layout. There's tons of little doors where houses should be, but there's nothing behind them really. And you can open the doors and everything. So all this stuff is for a reason. They're revamping all these cities in preparation for player housing. So all this stuff is getting ready. And I think they're going to do it the right way, and that they're going to put these things inside of cities. Could Garrisons fill the player housing role in WoW? I don't think so. I don't think they were ever going to do that. First of all, they lack customizability, as I said before. And really, a player house is supposed to be a place where you could show off the best things you've got. And that's what people want out of it. How can players' housing succeed in Midnight? I just talked about it. put it in a city, allow it to be super customizable, and keep the social aspects of the game intact by not allowing people to do a ton of shit in their player house, right? Player housing race in each capital of the race. I don't think it should be race bound. I agree. Every capital city should give you. So if you want to live in Thunder Bluff, you should be able to. If you want to live in Silvermoon, you should be able to. Two very different aesthetics, but I don't think you should be bound to the city of your race. So that's something that people should just be left to choose on their own. I want to be able to store my books in a bookshelf. Why not? Why not? Show off your achievements, show off your transmog, show off your armor. There's plenty of customizability that I think will be available to people in the game, and that's what's going to make player housing so much fun. It's going to be like that second thing, beyond transmog, that you can chase around when you're not buffing up your item level. So we'll see. I want to live in Darnassus. I love BBQ. Oh, God. And on that note, I think we'll end the news here.